I'm Roman Yossi of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Dante Fabro of the Nashville Predators.
This is Philip Forsberg of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Colton Sissons of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Eustace Aros of the Nashville Predators.
You're listening to the Renegades of Puck
with Crazy Charlie.
Welcome to the Bunker. Welcome to the Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. And before we get started on the No Half Step in Hockey coverage, first, let me direct you to our home website, renegadesofpuck.com. Once you go to renegadesofpuck.com, you learn everything you need to know about the show. And once you're getting educated about the show, you can click on that merchandise tab, take you straight to our classic logo, to your pride logo, to our special event tees, and so much more. All the gimmicks you come to know and love and expect from the Renegades of Puck are all still available in our online store, whether that's socks, throw pillows, wall art, bed sets. It doesn't make a difference to us. Something like 85 different gimmicks with our logo on it. We've sold out so that you can buy in. Social media is of critical importance to this operation, so listen up, and here's how you can help support the Renegades of Puck. On social media, you can find us on X, you can find us on Threads, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram and also TikTok. So please give us a like, a follow, and join us on social media for any or all of those different platforms. It doesn't cost you a thing, and it doesn't take you but a second. YouTube, you can find all video podcasts there, whether that's game previews, game recaps, full episodes, analysis, or more. You can find us on YouTube at Renegades of Puck. Please give us a subscription today and turn on those notification buttons so you'll know of the latest videos. The audio podcast is doing incredible thanks to the Full Press NHL Network. Full Press Predators podcast now being heard by over 6.5 million people out there from local to global this season. Full Press NHL has helped the Renegades of Puck in an incredible way, and we sure do appreciate what each and every one has done behind the scenes there to help us out. Venmo, that's how you can support the Renegades of Puck financially. Just search Renegades of Puck on Venmo or scan the QR code that's currently on your screen. Every dollar goes a long way to helping the Renegades of Puck, and we've been able to accomplish a significant amount of things here from the studio known as the Bunker, thanks to generous Renegades just like you watching and listening out there. So we sure do appreciate each and every one of you. Stick taps, love, and respect. Again, that's Venmo. Scan the QR code that's currently on your screen, and it'll put you in direct contact with the Renegades of Puck. Now listen, as cold as it may be in this studio, it's time to get to the No Half Step in Hockey coverage, so let me deliver the goods. It's time for operation number 819. That's right, time for show number 819. And at this moment in hockey history, well, the Nashville Predators currently find themselves in last place in the Central Division, 8th overall after 14 games skated. They have a record of 5-9. 10 points has them 9 points behind the first place Dallas Stars. We'll go from the top to the bottom of the division here in just a second. As a matter of fact, let's do it right now. The Dallas Stars currently occupy the number one position in the Central Division after 13 games skated with a record of 9-3-1 and 19 points. The Colorado Avalanche, who started off the season as hot as any team in the NHL, are now 8-5 and 16 points, 3 points behind first place. The Winnipeg Jets also have 16 points and are in third place, but they've played one more game than the Colorado Avalanche. Then you'll find the St. Louis Blues in fourth place with 15 points. The Coyotes also have 15 points. The Minnesota Wild in sixth place at 12. The Chicago Blackhawks with a record of 5-7 are in seventh place with 10 points. And then the Nashville Predators, by way of playing more games than the Blackhawks, also have 10 points, but are in last place with a record of 5-9. Preds need to turn some things around here. The Predators' next game will take place on home ice like their last game did. Now that they're back home from their long CMA road trip. 3-3 on the season on home ice. The Preds have scored 42 goals on the season overall and have given up 49 overall after they wrap up this next game against the Anaheim Ducks, the first meeting of the season between these two teams. The Preds will face off on Saturday versus Chicago Blackhawks, so a small break between games Tuesday to Saturday to make up for the Predators having played more games than anyone in the Central. So Saturday, the Chicago Blackhawks in town. Monday, the Colorado Avalanche. Wednesday, the Calgary Flames. Then on the 24th of November, it'll be at the St. Louis Blues, and then the 26th of November back home versus the Winnipeg Jets. The first of three meetings between the Preds and the Anaheim Ducks. The next meeting will take place on January the 9th back at Bridgestone Arena. The only trip for the Preds this season to Anaheim comes on February the 25th, when again the Preds will make their one and only trip out to face off against the Ducks. Speaking of the Ducks, let's talk about them for just a moment. They have an overall record of 7-6-0 on the season. 14 points is good for fourth overall in the Pacific Division. A 4-2-0 record on the road They've scored 40. They've given up 40. That makes things nice, symmetrical, and even. We'll take a look at their most recent stretch of 5, and there is one highly impressive victory on this list in their most recent games. On October the 30th, it was a 4-3 win at Pittsburgh. No, that's not the one. On November the 1st, it was a 4-3 overtime win versus Arizona. No, that's not the one either, but that's a solid win. This is the one. On the 5th of November, a 4-2 win versus the Vegas Golden Knights. That ended the Vegas Golden Knights' undefeated streak to begin the season. A very impressive win for this Anaheim Ducks team. On the 7th of November, a 2-0 loss versus the Pittsburgh Penguins, and most recently a 6-3 loss versus the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, the Anaheim Ducks will face off against the San Jose Sharks on home ice on Sunday night, so we will update this preview segment on Monday afternoon once the Ducks have completed that game with San Jose, giving you the numbers up to that game at this moment in time. Before I talk about the rankings and the matchup between these two teams, quick injury update for the Nashville Predators. We saw a return to action for Glass in the most recent game. Shen still listed on IR. McDonough still listed as day-to-day. And Shen on IR, the last quote we heard at the end of the CMA road trip was that it was going to be quite some time before he was ready to go again. Now, for the Nashville Predators and the Anaheim Ducks, when it comes to the NHL rankings and the numbers between these two teams, well, the goals for category, 3 even per game for the Nashville Predators is 21st rated overall in the NHL. 3.08 per game for the Anaheim Ducks is 18th in the league. The Preds, this number has really skyrocketed as of late, are giving up 3.5 goals per game. That is 24th overall in the NHL. That's not best. That's dipping down to worst category. 3.08 goals against per game is what Anaheim's giving up. That's 14th rated in the NHL. So again, Anaheim giving up 3.08, scoring 3.08. In the shots for category, Preds moving up a little bit after their last game. 30.6 per game is 17th in the NHL. The Anaheim Ducks generating 28.7 shots on goal per game. That's 25th best in the league. In the shots against category, Preds are 15th, giving up 30.4, while Anaheim gives up 32.9 per game. That is 26th overall in the NHL. Special teams for this Nashville Predators team. It's not the prettiest picture you've ever seen. Power play, 20.7% conversion rate is 15th in the NHL. 12 out of 58 is the raw data. For the Anaheim Ducks, 20.5% is their conversion rate. It is 16th best in the NHL. 9 out of 44. But it's the penalty kill where the Nashville Predators really jump off the page in being not great. 68.1% kill rate is 32nd, dead last in the NHL, and they've given up 15 power play goals against. For the Anaheim Ducks, 14th rated penalty kill. They've given up 12 power play goals against, have a kill rate of 80.3%. So the Nashville Predators penalty kill, as well as several other metrics, are just truly slipping towards the bottom half of the league, and it's happening fairly quickly over the course of the last 5 to 7 games now. Every team in the NHL has high-powered individual scores, and these teams are no exception. So let's start with the top 5 individual scores for each team. Let's start on the Anaheim Ducks side of things. The visiting Ducks, McTavish, 6 goals and 8 assists for 14 points, leads the Anaheim Ducks at this point in the season. Frank Vatrano off to an incredible start, 9 goals, paces the Anaheim Ducks in that category, add 3 assists to that, and that's 12 total points. Ryan Strome at 2 goals and 10 assists. Those 10 assists represent the number 1 spot on the Ducks, 12 points overall. Terry is at 5 and 6 for 11. Then you'll see down at the bottom, Minchikov at 1 and 8 for 9. Over on the Nashville Predators side of things, Philip Forsberg is at 6 and 11 for 17. O'Reilly is at 8 and 4 for 12. The 11 assists by Philip Forsberg is the leader in assists on the team. The 8 goals by Ryan O'Reilly is the team leader in goals. So Ryan O'Reilly add 4 assists to that and 12 points. So Forsberg at 17, O'Reilly at 12. Tommy Novak an even 6 and 6 for 12 points. Captain Romeo-Osi 2 goals and 8 assists for 10 points. And Luke Evangelista, 1 goal, 8 assists for 9 points, and pacing himself nicely in the Calder or rookie scoring race for this season. Now, in net, John Gibson for the Anaheim Ducks, not off to a great start. 2 and 4 on the season, 921 save percentage, a 2.41 goals against average. And for UC Saros, and we'll talk more about this a little bit later in the analysis portion of the show, but the raw numbers, 4-8-0, 8.94 save percentage, 3.24 goals against average. Now listen, we have seen UC Saros get off to some slow starts in the past and then right the ship and put up incredible numbers and have a great season. But this is becoming concerning as we're getting very close to Thanksgiving now, that UC Saros is having such a rough time in net. And this most recent game, does not help him in any way at all. Let's get into that last game. We need to talk about it. We need to break it down. It's called the Rebirth Sports Full Game Recap. You give us 10 minutes, we'll give you the entire game. All the goals, all the penalties, all the big plays. You'll find it in the next segment right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast.
Hockey players are as unique as the game itself, and your uniform should be tailored to fit you. Rebirth Sports is your sports apparel tailor. From shells, bags, warm-ups, hats, hoodies, branding, and more, let Rebirth Sports be your custom hockey tailor.
And don't forget to tell them they do more than just hockey.
Rebirth Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Rebirth Sport, a match made in hockey.
It's now time for the Rebirth Sports Full Game Recap. We go all the way back to November the 11th of the year, 2023, when the Nashville Preds finally returned home to face off against the Arizona Coyotes. Andrew Brunette deployed his lines in the following way: Forsberg, O'Reilly, and Nyquist, Sherwood, Novak, and Evangelista. Parsonen Glass returns to the lineup after several games missed due to injury. Philip Tomasino joins him on the third line. Foodie, Sissons, and Smith make up your fourth line. Your defensive pairings are the Captain Romaniosi with Dante Fabro, Luzon with Carrier, McDonough still out day to day. Del Gaizo skating on a third pairing with Barry. UC Saros gets the start on home ice in front of the home crowd. We are 19 seconds into the first period. It's Ingram, former Nashville Predator, coming up with a save on the Captain Romaniosi for the first shot on goal of the game. At 2:02 of the first period, it's Ingram coming up with a save on Sherwood at close range. 3:46 of the first period, Saros comes up with a save on Mosier. At 5:13 of the first period, it's Sherwood scoring his fourth goal of the season, putting the Nashville Predators on the board at 1-0. It was a wrist shot off of the rush. Luke Evangelista fed the play. Sherwood finishes for his fourth goal of the season. The Preds have a 1-goal lead on home ice. At 7:11 of the first period, it appears and was announced originally as Nyquist scoring a goal right here. Later on, changed to Philip Forsberg, his fifth goal of the season. It was a Nyquist backhand through traffic redirected by Philip Forsberg in the low slot area. O'Reilly, great job on the keep-in for the Nashville Predators. Preds buzzing in the first 7:11 of the first period, up 2-0 over the Arizona Coyotes. At 7:43 of the first period, UC Saros comes up with a save on Coulier for the first. Ingram comes up with a save on Tomasino off of the rush. 9:07 of the first period, UC Saros comes up with a save with the kick out on Stetcher's heavy shot. But at 9:58 of the first period, it's Carcones with fifth goal of the season. Gets Arizona on the board for the first time. Nashville now leads 2-1. This was a long shot through traffic. It completely eluded UC Saros. Trouble tracking on this particular play. 2-1 now in favor of the Nashville Predators. Arizona on the board, though. 11:57 of the first period. Stetcher off the box. 2 minutes for tripping. Forsberg would ring the iron. Then Ingram would come up with another save on Philip Forsberg's heavy shot a little bit later in the power play. At 14:05 of the first period, Stetcher out of the box with his first goal of the season on the breakaway. It's a 5-hole finish to tie the game up at 2 apiece. The Nashville Predators seem to lose situational awareness at this moment in time, and that's why Arizona is able to jump on this puck and capitalize. A 2-2 hockey game now at Bridgestone Arena. At 15:56 of the first period, UC Saros comes up with a twisting full-body save on Carcone. At 16:58 of the first period, Fabro scores his second goal of the season. It's a one-timer off of Forsberg's cross-slot pass. Philip Forsberg has now become the world-class distribution service. Philip Forsberg, a title that used to belong to former Nashville Predator Ryan Johansson. Nashville Predators now lead 3-2 here in the first period. 19:05 of the first period, Ingram comes up with a save on Foodie's wraparound attempt. Fabro follows with a long rebound shot attempt. The Nashville Predators generate 17 shots on goal in the first period. The Arizona Coyotes end up with 11. 35 seconds into the second period, UC Saros comes up with a save on Michelli after a turnover deep in the zone. 2:53 of the second period. Kerfoot's off to the box. 2 minutes for high sticking, and we see Ryan O'Reilly with his 8th goal of the season. And he brought the jam at the edge of the blue paint and put the puck back in the net, giving the Nashville Predators a 4-2 lead. A second time in this game, the Preds have had a 2-goal lead. O'Reilly's team-leading 8th goal of the season. At 6:23 of the second period, though, O'Reilly is off to the box. 2 minutes for holding. It's going to be Keller scoring for Arizona on the power play. His sixth goal of the season. Keller has had a pretty good career against the Nashville Predators. A cross slot pass, near side finish. I'm the one that wrote that down, and I couldn't even say it. So it was a cross-lot pass and a near-side finish for Keller in his sixth goal of the season. Nashville now leads 4-3 at 8:35 of the second period. Juuse Saros coming up with the save on Brown at 12:28 of the second period. It's Kerfoot's first goal of the season. He brings the rebound. Jam wins the battle to the loose puck in the crease. The captain, Roman Josi, had one more opportunity on the goal line, could not come up with the stop. Arizona's fourth goal of the game ties this game up for a second time now, 4 apiece. Second time the Arizona Coyotes have come back from down by 2 goals. At 13:38 of the second period, it's the captain, Roman Josi, off to the box, 2 minutes for tripping. His teammates, though, the Nashville Predators, would be incredible on the PK and bail him out, not giving up a single shot on goal against. As a matter of fact, they were quite good on this penalty kill. 17:59 of the second period, it's Ingram coming up with a save on Barry. Big-time save for Connor Ingram right here. 19:07 of the second period, it's Carcone's sixth goal of the season, second of the game. A wrist shot off of the rush beat Juuse Saros clean. Saros had a good look at this one and just could not come up with the save. His sixth goal of the season makes Arizona's total go to 5. Nashville only has 4, so the Arizona Coyotes, for the first time in this game, hold a lead. That'll be the end of the second period. Goals at the end of in the final minute of a period, the first minute of a period, always seem to be big-time momentum swings, and this one certainly is a big momentum swing. Coyotes lead 5-4 after 2. The Nashville Predators out shooting Arizona 28-17 for a team that's struggled to generate shots on goal lately. Good to see the Nashville Predators back in that zone. In the third period, clean sheet, 53 seconds, and we see Mosier off to the box, 2 minutes for holding the stick, or holding on Smith. Evangelista misses the tap-in in front. A timely stick check by the D prevented him from having the clean look at it. Ingram then comes up with a save on Evangelista just several seconds later on the same power play. 3:25 of the third period, it's Ingram coming up with a save on Del Gaizo through traffic. Good tracking by Connor Ingram right here. 3:51, Saros comes up with a save on Carcone. He's been all over the rink looking for his third in this game. 4:53 of the third period, Captain Roman Josi's off to the box again. 2 minutes for tripping on Keller as Keller was trying to slice across the middle of the Nashville Predator zone. The Captain Roman Josi trips him. Then Juuse Saros has to come up with a save on Keller and then another save on Hayton's redirect at close range. 7:22 of the third period, it's Ingram coming up with a save on Nyquist off of the rush. At 7:44, Kerfoot's off to the box. 2 minutes for puck over the glass. The Preds would only generate one shot on goal, and honestly, there wasn't much organized zone time at all for this power play. That power play was not good enough, just not effective at all. 10:46 of the third period, Ingram comes up with a save on Foodie at close range. At 10:51 of the third period, Ingram comes up with a save on Josi's heavy shot, left a big rebound, but no Nashville Predator was available or able to get to that in time. At 13:37 of the third period, it's Philip Forsberg scoring his sixth goal of the season. It was a low slot redirect of Nyquist shot from out high. Second time in this game that occurred. Forsberg's sixth goal of the season gives the Nashville Predators 5. Now the Arizona Coyotes 5. We have a 5-5 hockey game with just minutes to go. At 16:02 of the third period, Tommy Novak is off the box. 2 minutes for puck over the glass. Juuse Saros comes up with a huge save on Keller, but then Durzee's long shot ends up in the back of the net. His fifth goal of the season gives the Arizona Coyotes a 6-5 lead. Juuse Saros simply cannot track the long shot from out high. Alex Carrier was going for the shot block, but Juuse Saros seemed like he was able to see this one coming from distance, and this is not the first time in this game unable to track that puck from out high. Arizona leads 6-5 at 18:25 of the third. Ingram comes up with a save on Luke Evangelista at 18:33. Bukestad works really hard to earn himself an empty net goal, giving the Arizona Arizona Coyotes a 7-5 lead. The Nashville Predators would continue with the 6-on-5 attack, but would be unable to find the back of the net for the Arizona Coyotes. Coyotes win 7-5. Connor Ingram gets the win. The Nashville Predators outshoot Arizona 41-25. And for the Nashville Predators, this was simply not keeping their foot on the gas, not pressing the Arizona Coyotes up by 2-0, up by 4-2, then tying the game at 5 apiece, just unable to play with the lead, unable to protect the lead, and unable to ultimately, at the end of the game, take over and win this game. So the Nashville Predators fall on home ice. Somewhat of a disappointing end result. The Preds played not the worst game of the season. They did score 5 goals in this game, but their goaltending let them down tonight. I felt that UC Saros was rather soft in net, not tracking the puck very well, and the Nashville Predators could have played better on special teams. So the Preds fall 7-5 to the Arizona Coyotes. We've got so much more coming up on this game. We've got analysis, box score, Brian Baston, and so much more on the Renegades of Puck podcast.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Tracy, owner-operator of Strong Style Fitness. And that's me and my training assistant, Rizzo. And we are here to bring you fitness that meets you where you are by offering circuit classes, bar-inspired classes, Tabata workouts, boot camps, guided stretching, and more, all taught by a certified personal trainer, me. To learn more, go to our website, strongstylefit.com. Subscribe on YouTube at Strong Style Fitness. Follow on social media at Strong Style Fit. But most importantly, let's get you moving. It doesn't matter if it's your first workout or you've been doing it for years. Strong Style Fitness has the workout that meets you on your journey and helps you along the path to a happier, healthier life. I understand where you've been, what you were going through, and where you were going, and I want to take you there. We'll see you on the mat. Mwah.
Welcome back in Renegades of Puck podcast. That was the Rebirth Sports full game recap. Now it's time to break that game down. It's time to bring you some analysis. Let's start in net with UC Saros. 18 out of 24, and the first notation I made was, 6 goals against, not tracking the puck very well. This is a problem right now. Listen, the team hadn't played great in front of him on the road trip, and the team could have played better in front of him in this game against the Coyotes on home ice, but UC Saros not being able to track long shots, not being as focused, as dialed in, as engaged on the puck as we've come to expect and know that he is capable of with his otherworldly skill. 6 goals against is a massive and ugly number right there, and for UC Saros, it is the time to get back to basics. I've reached this point with UC Saros once or twice before in his career where I started looking at the numbers and saying 894 save percentage, 3.24 goals against average. These are barely NHL qualifying numbers. Now, UC Saros has taken numbers of similar quality and turned them around to turn himself into a Vezina finalist by the end of the season. Is he capable of that? Of course. So I'm trying not to get too overboard, but I would definitely make the notation of 6 goals against, and another performance where UC Saros gives up some leaky, soft, and long goals. He has to turn his game around and get back to basics incredibly quickly, or else the Nashville Predators may want to consider giving Lankinen a couple of starts in a row just to give UC Saros a mental break and to let the team realize that they are not helping their starting netminder in front. Not much other analysis I can give other than UC Saros is in a slump right now, and on a team where he is the single most important player and the single most important factor between winning and losing. UC Saros being off of his game, UC Saros not being dialed in, that is going to make this very, very difficult for the Nashville Predators over the next coming game. So you hope UC Saros can turn things around as quickly as possible. Philip Forsberg, 2 goals and 1 assist for 3 points in this game. 7 shots on goal, 4 hits, 21-36 in total time on ice, and 17 points in 14 games, pacing now well ahead of a point per game. 11 assists represents an incredible number for Philip Forsberg at this point in the season. Typically, we've had to wait till almost 30 games into the season for Philip Forsberg to get to 3 goals and get beyond 3 goals. Now he's already at 6, and as of late, just as hot as can be for this Nashville Predators team. 7 shots on goal actually did not lead the team. 4 hits did tie for the team lead. And one of those hits, the reverse check that we've seen Filip Forsberg do so many times, was just a monstrous hit out there on the rink. So Filip Forsberg has been red hot as of late on the offensive side of things, and he has definitely been leading this offense, and he did in this game with 2 goals and 3 total points. Now, secondary note, Filip Forsberg involved in this one as well. Forsberg, O'Reilly, Nyquist as the first line, 3 goals and 4 assists for 7 points, 14 total shots on goal. And I've got to say, I feel like the combo is gaining more and more chemistry. O'Reilly and Forsberg have clearly been comfortable since the first game of the season when they were skating with Parsonen for a couple of games. Now, Nyquist seems to have settled in and nice and quietly gained some chemistry. Nyquist set up both of Filip Forsberg's goals in this game, and he may be quiet out there on the rink, but he seems to be starting to put together a really nice season for this Nashville Predators team as a free agent. And perhaps I was wrong to judge and say that Nyquist wasn't the right winger for this Nashville Predators first line. So far, Forsberg, O'Reilly seem to be gelling with him just fine, and the results from last night typically will lead to victory in a game. When the Preds score 5 goals, when your top line puts up 3 goals and 7 points, usually that's going to be enough to get you over, but leaky goaltending, bad defense, and poor game management is never going to help you with victory. So the top line for the Nashville Predators, 7 points in this game, and again, I think they're playing pretty good together after 14 games. They haven't skated together for all 14 games, but I'd like to see them skate together for the next dozen games or so to see if they can continue generating this type of chemistry. Tommy Novak, 2 assists in this game. All he does is make plays, springing the play from deep in his defensive zone to help get the Nashville Predators on the board. Multiple times he helped start the rush and lead the rush, getting the Nashville Predators on the board 2 different times. Tommy Novak, 2 assists in this game, now 6 assists on the season, 12 total points, tied for second on the team in scoring. The captain, Roman Josi, with 2 assists in this game and 8 total shots on goal. The 8 shots on goal did pace the Nashville Predators, 24-29 in total time on ice. That's all good news, but there was also bad news. 2 penalties for Roman Josi. Found himself in the box a couple of times, and that certainly didn't help the Nashville Predators, but for the captain out there trying to get things done, he led the team in total time on ice, 24-29. Power play time, 5-18. Shots on goal, 2, and 2 assists, tied for the lead with 2 total assists. Forsberg had 3 points in this game and did lead more there. Fabro also had 2 points in this game. So the captain, Roman Josi, unable to lead his squad to victory. From a leadership perspective, perhaps the captain, Roman Josi, could have done more in this game. His squad, and this is on the coaching staff, it's on the captain, the leadership, and each and every one of the individual players, the game management. Let me start there. I'm going to skip and come back to a point that I made. I'm going to go to the game mismanagement right here. And it was a 2 goal leads. And again, this is on the captain, this is on the coach, this is on each and every one of the individual players. When you have a 2-goal lead on home ice, you should never give that up. You definitely should not give that up twice in a matter of a couple of periods against the same opponent. So for the Nashville Predators, had a 2-0 lead, had a 4-2 lead, and tied the game at 5 apiece, and still lost 7-5. It was game mismanagement almost to a critical level. Not something I want to see moving forward, but as part of the growth process, as part of the rebuild, we're going to see results like this from time to time. There was some good in this game. There was some bad in this game, and the result is something that you don't want to see. But the game mismanagement is really where the Nashville Predators completely failed in this game. 5 goals for the Preds on home ice is almost always a victory, but they mismanaged this one right into a loss. And give credit to the Arizona Coyotes, who were a tenacious group, and they're going to be a real pain in the ass for a lot of teams in the Western Conference throughout this season. Now, let me cycle back to the point I was going to make before, and that's about Yakov Trenin. You notice in the game recap, you did not hear Yakov Trenin's name. You did not hear him in a line combination. Now, I'll go ahead and make the caveat. You haven't really heard his name in a game recap, even when he's been in the lineup as of late. Yakov Trenin, a healthy scratch last night at Bridgestone Arena after returning home from the CMA road trip. And I think that this was actually overdue. Yakov Trenin has 0 points on the season, does not seem to be imposing his will physically, and whatever type of level of spirit animal cult hero he gained as part of the herd line, The herd line doesn't exist anymore. The herd line is long gone, broken up, and does not bring any type of jam, effort, or effect to any type of game. We used to talk about that line, and of course, I know Tanner Janot is no longer here, but we used to talk about that line being an investment in pain management for other teams, and it's simply not the way. Yakov Trenin has lost his game completely. He's not effective offensively, defensively, or in the physical side of things. Putting up a couple of decent shifts on the penalty kill does not excuse not having a single point through 14 games and looking rather ineffective in the aspects of the game where Yakov Trenin had been so good. Listen, I have been a champion for Trenin here ever since he first came up from Milwaukee, ever since he first buckled Zdeno Chara's knees with a fight against the Boston Bruins, and I have always thought he brought a certain element of physical grit, sandpaper, and jam to the lineup. But whatever it is, he dropped his toolbox somewhere along the way this season and has not been the player under Andrew Brunette that he was at any point in time under this Nashville Predators organization. So for Yakov Trenin, a night off to refocus. He'll get an opportunity, I'm sure, again back in the lineup soon. Need to see a lot more aggressiveness, need to see a lot more compete level, need to see, frankly, a lot more jam. And Trenin is just the first. There are others that are also on the fringe and starting to suffer from losing their game just a little bit, losing their edge just a little bit. And they need to find that. That's one of the reasons the Nashville Predators have sunk to last place in the Central Division. So Yakov Trenin earned that healthy scratch, and he earned sitting in the press box at home against the Arizona Coyotes. We'll see when he gets back in the lineup. This may be a situation where Andrew Brunette keeps him out for 3, 4, 5 games before giving him another chance to get in. So game mismanagement is what led to the problem for the Nashville Predators. 2 blown leads, 2 goals, and the tie game late. Preds unable to hold on. That's going to do it for the analysis portion of things. Stripe Digital is who we're going to hear from here. We got a quick break, then we'll be back. The good, cold, hard numbers from the box score, Brian Basson, and we'll close out operation number 819. Right here from the bunker, it is the Renegades of Puck podcast. The digital environment can be quite intimidating, time-consuming, and cumbersome, especially with all those other areas that need attention at your business, and that's why Stripe Digital Solutions is here to help. I know, because that's exactly what Stripe Digital Solutions did for me and the Renegades of Puck. From designing my home website and helping me create my merchandise to special event posters, brand building, and social media management. But it's not just that, it's so much more. Stripe Digital Solutions has helped me every step of the way. From startup to full-time operation, Stripe Digital Solutions has been there to assist and advise every single step of the journey. In today's fast-paced world, the path to success is having a strong digital partner, and nobody is better in the trenches than Brandy and Stripe Digital Solutions. Get the solution before it's even a problem with Stripe Digital Solutions. Welcome back in, Renegades of Puck podcast. Time for the good, cold, hard numbers. It's time for the box score, and then we'll get the analytics in after this. Philip Forsberg led the team in goals with 2. Other goal scorers on the forward side of things, it was Ryan O'Reilly and Kiefer Sherwood. Dante Fabro adds a goal in this game. When it comes to assists, multiple players with 2 assists in this game. Let's start with Tommy Novak. All he does is make plays, and he made 2 in this one, getting 2 assists. Nyquist also chips in with 2 assists. On the other forward assists, Evangelista and Forsberg. On the defensive side of things, Roman Josi had 2 assists in this game. Dante Fabro had 1. And Luzon also chips in with an assist. The rare scoring appearance on the sheet for Jeremy Luzon. When it comes to shots on goal, it was the captain, Roman Josi, with 8 pacing the team. And then Philip Forsberg with 7. Ryan O'Reilly with 5. Nobody else on the team more than 2. And for the Nashville Predators, it's the first time they've piled up this many shots in a while. Unfortunately for the captain, Roman Josi, 8 shots on goal did not lead to a single goal, but he did pick up 2 assists. When it comes to block shots, nobody had more than 2. 3 of the Nashville Predators blue liners had 2. Luzon, Josi, and Carrier, not a surprise right there. And Cole Smith had 2 on the forward side of things. When it comes to physical play, hits, Philip Forsberg, 4. Co-leader on the team in this game, with Mark Del Gazzo also having 4. Luzon chipped in with 3, and out of Forsberg's 4 hits, I'll give him the tiebreaker over Luzon. He had the most noticeable hit with the reverse check that we've all become so familiar with here in Nashville, but absolutely laying the boom on that particular opportunity. When it comes to time on ice leaders from the forwards, it was in fact Philip Forsberg, 21-36, leading the Nashville Predators. Ryan O'Reilly, the 1,000th game celebration celebration taking place at Bridgestone Arena before the game. Then he goes out, scores a goal, gets 5 shots on net, skates 21 and 24 total time on ice, and he was frustrated. You could tell he definitely wanted that victory in the third period. The captain, Romeo, leads the team in total time on ice at 24-29, as he usually does. No other defenseman over 20 minutes. Special teams minutes, power play. It was Evangelista 503 on the power play, Tommy Novak 502, Forsberg at 459, the captain Romeo at 518. Short-handed for the Nashville Predators, Sissons at 328, Smith at 323, Alex Carey at 307, and Jeremy was on at 341. That's going to do it for your time on ice, leaders. And in net, I see it again, and I'm just 18 out of 24 for UC Saros. Not a very heavy workload. Gives up 6 goals against. The 7th goal, of course, was into the empty net. Does not count against the starting netminder. But 15 even strength saves, 3 power play saves. That's it for UC Saros. I've already talked about it in almost every segment, but that's just not going to get it done. A save percentage of .894, goals against average of 3.24. Just not going to get it done. A save percentage of .750 for UC Saros against the Arizona Coyotes on home ice. That's just, well, it's not good enough, and everybody knows it. That's going to do it for the good, cold, hard numbers of the box score, but it's not the end of the numbers discussion. This man has the numbers you need to see and the charts you need to know. He is the one and only Brian Baston from OnTheForecheck.com, and he runs the Renegade Analytics Desk. Brian, the show belongs to you.
Well, unfortunately, the Nashville Predators fall to the Arizona Coyotes 7-5 after giving up not just one, but two-goal leads and wasted yet another Philip Forsberg 2-goal performance, which, again, if you've been following along since last episode, that does bring Forsberg's totals for the last 7 games up to 5 goals and 13 points in those last games. So credit to him, because he's really playing his butt off right now, as is Mr. 1000 himself, Ryan O'Reilly. But this game had a lot of issues, obviously. Biggest one, I think, the penalty kill, giving up 3 penalty kill goals when they were short-handed to the Arizona Coyotes on 5 attempts, and the power play going just 1 for 4 on the evening. Now, one of the things, though, that I think that contributes to the power play is something that we really haven't talked a whole lot about or mentioned, and it's the performance of one player that was specifically actually brought in to help address the power play issues, and he's going to be the topic of tonight's One Big Stat. Tyson Barrie came from Edmonton in the trade that sent Matthias Ekholm up there, and one of the big things that he was touted for was his ability on the power play. Now, obviously, when you played on a power play with guys like Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, you're going to put up some pretty gaudy numbers. However, Tyson Barrie really hasn't been as advertised with the man advantage this season so far. So let's take a look at that. First, out of all the players who play at least 20 minutes on the power play, Tyson Barrie is dead last in points per 60, just managing just 2.6, which is, again, last on the team for that. But we also want to look at, he's only scored just the 2 points, period, 2 assists. But the power play isn't all the game, obviously, and we want to look at how he has done on 5-on-5. Now, tonight, he actually was one of the better players at 5-on-5. Gotta give him a lot of credit there. However, unfortunately, it's been not that great overall this season in the 14 games that he has played at even strength. Right now, at even strength, with at least the players among 50 minutes or more, sorry about that, he is dead last in expected goals allowed per 60 with 3.1, at shot attempts per 60 at 66.2, and shots against at 39.1, all dead last. And that doesn't mean that he is giving up a whole lot, but he's creating a lot either, because his percentages in those categories are also dead last, sitting at a 40.4 for expected goals for, 38.9% for shots for, and 45% for shot attempts for percent share. So, unfortunately, we've seen a lot of issues defensively for Nashville, and Tyson Barrie isn't the reason for all of them, obviously. Again, he's more of an offensive defenseman, but that offense just hasn't been there this season, sitting with no goals and just 7 points on the season, only 4 of those being primary assists. But there's more to be done, because what we've seen so far is really three types of players on this Predators team so far this season. We've got the veterans who are really stepping up and carrying things, which I think you could safely put Philip Forsberg and Ryan O'Reilly in that category, of course. You have the young guys who are kind of stepping up despite still going through some growing pains, guys like Juuso Parssinen, but especially Tommy Novak, Luke Evangelista, and Kiefer Sherwood, who also scored tonight. And then you've got the players who've just kind of been there, the veterans who haven't really been able to make much of an impact, and Tyson Barrie is unfortunately one of those guys. You would expect that a lot of this from a young team that has a lot of players who are just for the first time playing together this season. But you expect some of your more veteran players to be able to step up and help carry this team. And so far this year, Tyson Barrie's kind of been a no-show. I'm not saying that he should be not on the team or be a healthy scratch or anything like that, but he's definitely going to have to step up his play for the Nashville Predators if he is going to want to be with this team long term. Because as of right now, he's just not doing it. And that's tonight's one big stat. Charlie?
Thank you so much, Brian. Sure to appreciate you jumping in the trenches with the Renegades of Puck, running the Renegade Analytics Desk, again, from ontheforecheck.com. He's got the numbers you need to know, the charts you need to see, the one and only Brian Bass. I'm always thankful to have Brian as part of the show. Looking down, that's it. It's time to close this thing out. Operation number 819 is in the books. I'm going to close it out by saying this. There was some good. Yeah, I had to look at my notes again, even though I said I was done looking at the sheet. There was some good and there was some bad in this game. The Preds lost 7-5, 12 total goals at Bridgestone Arena on a Saturday night. It was wildly entertaining in the first period and the second period, and in the third period till it was 5-5, and then suddenly it really, truly wasn't that much fun or that wild for the home crowd. The Arizona Coyotes, they are a tenacious young group. They are not the same pushover that they have been the last couple of years, and that is good to see for the Central Division of the Western Conference and for the NHL at large to see what was easily one of their weakest teams in the entire league now settling in to be a middle-of-the-pack Central Division team and a tough opponent. The Nashville Predators are not going to just take points from the Arizona Coyotes this year. They're going to have to earn them if they get any of them. That's for anyone who goes up against this Arizona Coyotes team. They're no longer just a pushover. If you have 3 games on the schedule against the Coyotes, you normally could pen yourself in for 5 of those 6 points without even really giving much of an effort. You're not going to get that this year against Coyotes. And for the Preds, listen, the top line, Philip Forsberg, these are good things. The development of some of the youth, Tommy Novak being tied for second on the team in scoring. Nyquist showing that he can compete and be a part of the team. Luke Evangelista pacing for the potential rookie scoring race. So far, there are some good things happening with this Nashville Predators team, and it's taking some time. You would love to see the win-loss record be a little better. You'd love to see the Preds have more points. You'd love to see them score more goals, but this is something you would be saying even if the Predators were in third place in the Central Division. It's something you're always going to be saying unless the Predators are at number 1 spot in the league. And I remember in 2018 when the Preds were winning on an every-game basis and making a run at the President's Trophy, there was still lots of complaining. There's always going to be lots of complaining. It's one of the great joys of being involved in sports and covering sports. There's always something to complain about. There's always something to argue about. But I'm going to choose to say that this game had equal amounts of good and bad. On the offensive side of things, the Preds generating 5 goals, getting more shots on goal than they had in a while, high-danger shots, all very good for the Nashville Predators. On the negative side of things, UC Saros has looked terrible in net as of late. Defensively, the Nashville Predators are showing lapses, and in total game concentration and control, the Preds have not yet established themselves as being able to take over a game for a full 60. They've only been able to do it once this season against the Seattle Kraken on home ice. I was hoping a return to home would allow the Nashville Predators to take a deep breath and perhaps be able to go out there and get some composure and control. But right now, that's not where they are. They have a big homestand ahead of them. Anaheim is not a pushover. Chicago is the same amount of points as the Preds. Calgary is not a very good team. St. Louis is not a great team. And the Winnipeg Jets are right in the middle of the pack. So the Predators have competition they should be able to be even and compete against. They got to start earning some points, especially when you score 5 goals. That's going to do it for this episode. There's a lot more than I can say, but we're going to come back on Monday afternoon. We're going to do an updated show. We're going to talk about the Ducks and the San Jose Sharks. They'll play on Sunday night, so we'll have updated numbers, updated stats, and updated league rankings in everything on Monday. We'll also have a Spartans update from over the weekend. Spartans split a big-time series in the Great Lakes Division. I'll have plenty more about that coming up on the next episode, episode number 820 of the Renegades of Puck podcast. That's going to do it for operation number 819. 2019. Thank you so much to all the Renegades of Puck, especially Brian Baston, for jumping on the show. We sure do appreciate each and every one of you. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your viewership, and we certainly appreciate you. I'm your host and Captain Crazy Charlie Saunier from a freezing cold bunker on an early Sunday morning. Stick taps, love, and respect.